When was the last time you truly trusted yourself? I mean, not in just the big decisions, but in the small ones as well. When was the last time you actually had confidence in yourself, in the choices that you were making? Welcome back to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. I'm Sanj, and today we're talking about a topic that is crucial for anyone looking to lead a fulfilling and successful life. If you get something from this episode, don't forget to leave me a rating or a review. So, as I was saying, when was the last time you trusted yourself, really trusted yourself? As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent, but sometimes you're your own worst enemy. You're losing trust in yourself and you're allowing doubt to creep in and impact your life. I know that actually after a while, when I started on my meditation journey, when I started actually taking a step back, journaling, and I actually started to think properly, I realized that there were times where I didn't trust myself. I didn't have faith in myself. I had lost confidence in myself. And that was actually quite difficult to take. It was quite overwhelming to realize that actually maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Maybe I wasn't as confident in my choices as I thought I was. So today, that's what I'm going to be covering. I'm going to be talking about how and why you lose faith and confidence in yourself over time. I'm going to be talking about ways that your self-trust that you have can have the impact it has on every area of your life. I'm going to be giving you practical ways to start rebuilding that trust in yourself. So you start making the decisions you want to. So you start being the person you want to be. So you start living the life you want to have. The life that leads you to a fulfilling and successful life. And hopefully by the end of this episode, my hope is that you'll see self-trust as a foundation for building not only a successful life, but one that is rich in self-respect, one that's rich in confidence, one that has an abundance of peace in it. So let's start. Let's talk about how we lose faith in ourselves and why self-trust actually ends up slipping away. So let's start with how something that we all experience, but we may not even realize it. You may not even understand that losing faith in yourself and the impact that it has on you. You see, you assume that trust in yourself is a given, that it's just naturally there, that you should have it because you think that you've got it all covered. But it's just like any other relationship. Your relationship with yourself requires care, it requires attention, and it requires trust. But what you may not realize is actually how surprisingly easy it is for you to lose that trust in yourself, for you to lose that faith in your ability to make good decisions. And here's how it happens. Just imagine this. You make a promise to yourself to start a new habit, maybe reading 10 pages a day, saving money, eating healthy, going to the gym. Yeah, maybe getting to bed earlier, just something like that, cutting back on screen time. It could be anything. And you're excited at first, you're inspired, you're full of motivation. But then after a few days, life gets busy, something is thrown in the mix that puts you off. Yeah, and then all of a sudden the habit fades, and suddenly you've broken that promise to yourself. Tell me, does that sound familiar? Where have you done that in your life? How often have you done it in your life? Most people have done that almost on an annual basis, if not more. At least on an annual basis, and that's with their New Year's resolutions. So can you imagine every single year you're promising yourself something on January the 1st, and by the middle of February you've already failed that promise, you've actually gone back on it. And while you may brush it off, each time you actually make a promise to yourself, you're essentially telling yourself that you're going to commit to something. But then when you break that promise, when you actually stop committing to it, you tell yourself that your commitments aren't worth sticking to. And it doesn't even matter if it's a big resolution or a small one. Even the smaller daily things like saying you'll read instead of scrolling, saying that you'll actually wake up early tomorrow, or you'll hand a project in earlier than at the last minute. Every time you say something and you don't commit to it and you do something else, your confidence in yourself takes a hit. And over time, these little broken promises that just happen on a daily basis accumulate. And actually, you start to lose faith in yourself and you start actually lacking trust in yourself. It's like chipping away at a foundation. And if you chip away at it enough, your whole structure becomes unstable. And here's the real kicker. This is the thing. This makes a difference, because the less you trust yourself, the more likely you are to rely on others' opinions, others' advice, and validation from external sources, because you start looking outwards for what should be coming from within. So imagine that. Imagine that you are sitting there, you're making these decisions, but you're always constantly searching for other people to validate you. You're always looking for external people to come in and give you that advice, give you their opinions, because you don't actually trust your own self anymore. Where in your life have you been doing that? How does that make you feel now that you've been reminded or you've been made aware of it? So now we talked about how you actually lose that self-trust. The difference it makes when you actually build it up is so powerful. Everything changes when you start trusting yourself. When you start building your self-trust, it's like reinforcing the foundations of your house. It means that it's providing you with stability, because when you start trusting yourself, you actually start having a more stable base and foundation to start from, because you know that you're not going to just waver. You're not just going to crumble at the first challenge. You're going to build up that resilience and that strength in every part of your life. Because when you start to trust yourself, you become your own anchor. You become your own foundation. Yeah, you're no longer just swayed by everyone else's opinion. You're not caring about everyone's doubt or their criticism. You yourself, you're grounded. And here's the thing, when you start to trust yourself more, you will become more successful. You'll become happier and you'll become more resilient. Because when you trust yourself, you're better at setting and achieving your goals, because you're more likely to commit to them. You're more likely to maintain positive relationships, because you're going to trust yourself more. You're going to be happier within yourself. And then people around you will actually notice this and they'll be more drawn to you. They'll have more confidence in you. You'll also manage your stress better, because when you're committing to the things you say you're going to be committing to, you're going to actually feel that, yeah, you've got that confidence and you know that you're going to be able to do something, whether it's difficult or not. So you're going to feel less stressed about it. You're less likely to give up even when things get tough. So think about the times when you've really trusted yourself, when you've actually had 100% confidence in yourself in making a decision. Think about that and then compare it to the times when you didn't have the confidence. When you have that self-trust, decision making becomes easy. You don't second guess yourself as much. You know your own value. You're less worried about seeking validation from others, because you have that confidence in yourself. You know that whatever comes your way, you'll be able to handle it. You feel a sense of inner peace, and your mental energy is then directed towards growth and progress. You're actually moving your mind in the right direction. You're moving it away from doubt and self-criticism. You're moving it away from requiring other people external validation. And you're moving it towards your own growth, your own progress, your own confidence. You're moving it to the way you're taking control of your ship. You're making yourself move in the direction you want. So if you want to start building trust in yourself, if you're sick and tired of depending on everyone to give you their opinions, if you're sick and tired of actually looking for other people to tell you whether you're making the right decision, here are 3 ways in which you can start building trust in yourself. And it's so essential. So the first way is start with the small promises and start following through. Because that's one way you can build up the momentum. So start small. Start by setting your alarm for, say, 6:30 in the morning when you normally wake up at 7. Set your alarm for 6:30 and commit to it. because it's actually those small promises that you're breaking at the moment that is actually causing you to have less trust in yourself, have less belief in yourself. So make tiny promises to yourself, something you know that you can accomplish, and follow through. If you tell yourself you're going to drink, say, 2 liters of water every morning, every day, do it. If you say you're going to read for 5-10 minutes a day, do it. It's easy just to break those small promises, but it's also just as important to actually make sure you're following through with those. When you consistently keep even the smallest promises you make to yourself, you start to rebuild that trust in yourself. It's like creating a track record, something that you can look back on and remind yourself that you're actually someone who follows through on their commitments. When you set small achievable goals, you're more likely to stick with your big commitments as well, because when you start small, it makes a difference. The second thing is practice self-compassion, not criticism. I always talk about this. When you lose your self-trust, it's because you're your harshest critic. When things don't go to plan, you just pile on the criticism. Oh yeah, I'm not good enough. Oh, this wasn't for me. But imagine if you were actually treated in a better way. Would your friend turn around and say, yeah, you know what, you're useless? No, your friend wouldn't say it to you. You wouldn't say it to your friend. So why would you say it to yourself? So stop questioning your worth, because what you're gonna end up doing is you're gonna actually lose faith in the relationship you have with yourself. So instead of criticizing yourself when you slip up, practice self-compassion. Realize that you're human, you're gonna make mistakes, and that every time you slip up, it's an opportunity to learn something. It's an opportunity to actually, you may need to readjust things, rethink things. Maybe saying to yourself, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week for 30 minutes. Maybe that's not doable. But actually, maybe if you say, I'm going to go 2 to 3 times a week for a total of 2.5 hours, maybe that's doable. Maybe you have to rethink things. When you practice your self-compassion, you're more likely to be resilient. It's not just nice, it's powerful. And then the third thing to boost your confidence is reflect on your past successes. Take time to reflect on your achievements, on your wins, because too often you focus on what you haven't done, where you fell short. But when you actually acknowledge your success, even the small ones, you're reminding yourself that you're actually capable, that you are trustworthy. So maybe you just take a minute, you write down the things you accomplished during the day. Things you did well on. And over time, these small reminders, it'll actually help you rebuild your self-trust and rebuild that foundation that you need, that foundation of confidence. So you may have lost trust in yourself, but it doesn't mean that you can't get it back. So you've got 3 actionable steps to start building it back. Trust isn't something that happens overnight. It isn't lost overnight, and it isn't rebuilt overnight. But actually, with each small promise, with being kind to yourself and with positive reflection, you'll start to see that trust grow again. Think of it as like a muscle. It gets stronger the more you work at it, and it becomes more of a support system for everything else you do. That confidence in yourself changes every aspect on your life. So where do you need to start showing up differently in your life? Where can you fully trust yourself? What new goals would you go after if you trusted yourself? How would you show up differently in your work, relationships, your passions? Thank you for joining me today on Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. Remember, self-trust is the foundation for every positive change you want to make. If you found today's episode helpful, please share it with someone who may need to hear this message, and don't forget to leave a rating or review and even subscribe for more mindset insights. Until next time, keep working on that mindset, because when you master it, you truly do master your life. Thank you.